We're live. We're live on air with driver of the Bob Glidden car, Mike Ruth from the Midwest Nostalgia Pro Stock Association. What's up, Mike?
Thank you very much. A pleasure to be on your show.
Well, it's a pleasure's all mine to have you on air.
So how's everything going tonight?
It's going good. How's everything going on with you?
Good. We just finished getting the car all ready. We have an event this weekend out at Byron Raceway, and just got the car all valves adjusted and everything ready to rock and roll so we can put on a good show. That's always a good thing.
Hell yeah. Just let everybody know you're on Pits of Motor Chaos. So yeah, anyways, when was the last race you did before this one?
We were just out at Cordova a week ago at a deal called Door Wars, and there were several big groups out there. The Chicago Wise guys were out there, and several Index people, and a couple of funny cars. So we've been very, very busy this summer. The Midwest Nostalgia Pro Stock says we've had a fantastic summer. We're out almost every weekend. We've been all over the country at different shows and looking at different deals. So it's been a busy but fun summer so far, and we're busy for the next 2 months. So all is well.
So, Mike, do you have any relations to Babe Ruth?
None whatsoever.
Okay.
His real name was not Ruth. He was adopted by people whose last name was Ruth. So.
Do you have any relations to them?
I don't know. He was dead long before I was born.
No, I mean.
No relationship to the candy bar company either. So I'm just a hard-working stiff like everybody else.
So when did you start racing?
I think when I was about 10 years old, I got a mini bike, and a friend of mine got a mini bike, and we raced each other then. And if it's had a motor on it, I've been racing it ever since. The first, I drove down Great Lakes Dragway in 1971 in a 65 Corvette that I had. That was the first time I actually was at a regular drag strip, but I did a little bit of street racing. Actually, I did a lot of street racing back in the day, but that was it. I love it as much now as I did back then. It's a big thrill still, and I feel blessed that at age 62 I can still go out and do all this stuff. So.
You're only 62 years old?
Only, yeah. I look like 92, but I'm really only 62.
I swear to God, I thought you were like 39.
Yeah, I wish. Hey, I love you, honey.
You're welcome.
No, that's that up a long time ago. But that's okay. You know, you don't have to. It's not like other sports. You know, like football or basketball, where you slow up. I mean, I don't know. I don't do it any better or any worse now than I did it when I was 16. So.
Yeah.
All good.
That's cool. So, first car you drag race. What was the first car?
Well, my first car was a '63 Ford Falcon. It wasn't a very fast car, but I only kept that for a few months, and then I had a '65 Corvette, 365 horse small block with a 4-speed in it, and I did a bunch of work to it. And that was a pretty decent car on the street. It was pretty light. And I was able to get the car to hook up much better than the big block Chevelles and the Hemi cars. So I had considerable success on the street race of that car. But I've pretty much been involved in racing my whole life. I did it professionally, you know, for a living from probably 1978 and still doing it now. So it's in my blood. I don't think I'm ever going to get it out. And my parents are wondering when I'm going to grow up. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
Wow, you've been racing 2 years before I existed.
Doing it a long time, and I still like it.
Yeah, you started 2 years before I even existed.
I know, I get it, I'm old.
No, you're not that old. Who inspired you? What inspired you?
I always liked going fast, and I always liked the challenge of trying to make whatever you were on, a mini bike or a motorcycle or a car, you know, go faster, tweak it. Honestly, when I was in high school, I went to school right close by where Tony Christian lived, and when I was 14, 15 years old. He was cruising around town in a 57 Chevy, and
Nice.
he had all the hot babes, and I kind of, I thought, man, that's what I want to do. I want to have a hot car like that and cruise around. So I guess I'd have to credit him with a lot of it, but, it's just, it's something that I think it's just born in you, and once you do it, it's, it's something that I never lose the thrill. I just absolutely love going to the drag strip. I can't wait when the light turns, when you stage the car and let the clutch out. I love it. It's very exhilarating, and I like all the people. I mean, I'm very lucky that I've been surrounded myself with a lot of a very fun-loving group of guys. My partner Mark Pappas, some of the guys on the team, Jungle George. They're all a bunch of characters, and we're always playing gags on each other. We're always having a good time, and it's a lot of fun. We're having a lot of fun.
How'd you get involved with that group?
Originally, Mark Pappas actually started this whole thing. I think around 2010, and he did a replica of the Raider Morrison Camaro, which I always liked. And I was actually working on Dominic Glasgow's Top Sportsman car, and I always was watching what Mark was doing. I always liked it. When Dom moved and bought the drag strip in Missouri, Mark asked me if I wanted to, work with him, and I said yeah. And then so that was it. I actually was his crew chief for several years, and then he let me drive one of his cars, which was a fatal mistake for him because I had to have one. So when we built the car I have now, and I still help him out a lot, and I really love that Raider Morrison car. But when he's alongside of me on the drag strip, I don't cut him any slack.
You got that lead foot, huh?
I think we all do. I think everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to be the fastest. And everybody wants. Honestly, we're all a bunch of show-offs. Everybody likes to show off. So sometimes it's not about if you have the fastest car. It's really about putting on a show for the people. And we try to keep these cars. That's what our motto is, the legends. And I think we're on the right path because, like I said, we are booked up, all the way until December right now. And that's amazing because 5 or 6 years ago, you'd be hard pressed to have anybody even want you to come out, and now we're getting calls and proposals almost on a weekly basis. So that makes it a lot better when you know you're wanted.
What made you choose the Bob Glidden car?
I always felt that Bob was a class act. He and Etta raised their sons, in front of everybody in NHRA in the world, and they brought a sense of like Midwestern family values into drag racing. And a lot of people would ask us, how come you don't have a Bob Glidden car? And one day I called him, and he said, yeah, you can go ahead and do that. And so that's why I'm not necessarily a diehard Ford guy, but that was one car we didn't have, and he was larger than life throughout the world, but even more so in the Midwest, because he's from Indiana.
So I got a question a fan asked. What do you think about long and smoky burnouts and dry hop, which is what fans want to see?
I could spend a whole day just doing long smoky burnouts. If it's as exciting as it is for the fans, it's even more exciting when you're in the car doing it. You can actually look out the window while you're doing it and see everybody cheering and waving their hands and everything, and hearing that engine revving up in a real high RPM, and it's a lot of fun. Dry hops are fun too, but they really beat up the car, so I'll do a whole lot of those. Maybe do a little more next year when I build a different rear end, but they're fun to do too, but very, very hard on equipment.
How many more races you have for this year?
We have, I'll do a plug here for us. We have this weekend is Summer Thunder at Byron. The weekend after the 19th, we're going to Route 66, the NHRA National Event Track for the Classic. And then the big one we're going to is 25th and 26th in Cordova, Illinois, the World Series of drag racing. And then right after that, we're going to be doing Hot Rod Drag Week with Hot Rod Magazine. And then we're negotiating for probably another half a dozen. So we're going to be busy September all the way through, probably at least November. And then we do a lot of shows. We do the Race and Performance Expo, and last year we were at the Milwaukee Auto Show for Motor Trend Magazine. So, we don't quit racing. We don't really race in the winter, but we're on display and we hand out flyers and do promotions and all that. So we're busy all year round.
That's cool. You guys travel the states?
We finished this year. We were in Paducah, Kentucky. That was our first race. We went to Wilkesboro, North Carolina. That was a pretty long haul. We do Indiana. Cordova is out real close to the Iowa border. So we get around a little bit. It makes it harder when you got to travel that far because it's more expensive, fuel-wise and hotel and all that. I have a little bit bigger crew than some of the other guys, so it's a little bit more expensive for me because I have to have extra hotel rooms and that. But my car is prepped perfectly every time. My crew chief, Dave Meyer, is absolutely the best. He is just on top of this all the time, and we have another mechanic on board this year, Brad Urban, who's another, 35, 40-year ASE certified mechanic. And then, of course, the blonde, who I wouldn't even want to go down the drag strip without, Eileen Orlowski. She's been in my corner for 40 years. Her and I stood on the starting line at Great Lakes Dragway in 1972 and been doing it ever since. So,
is that your wife?
She keeps everyone, she's the glue. She holds us all together.
Is that your wife?
No, I'm not married.
Well, okay.
Every time I try to say that word, it goes, as far as I can get out. So we'll just leave it at that before I get myself in trouble. So I tried being married. It lasted a little while, but it just wasn't for me. So anyhow.
So when was the last time you raced at Great Lakes?
Last year at the Summer Nationals, Carcraft Magazine. We were on display at the Summer Nationals in Milwaukee, and then they had us do some exhibition racing at Great Lakes Dragway. There's another group that of similar cars to ours. I'm going to be kind when I say that, and they pretty much have the they race all the time at Great Lakes Dragway. They're kind of like the house band, and so we really don't. We would love to race there. If somebody wanted to call us up, I'm sure we could make some, work something out and get up there. But at this point, they seem to be happy with the group that they have in there, and that's fine. So we do Byron a lot. We do Cordova a lot. So we do a lot, some local stuff. But it's nice to go to different tracks and see different parts of the country and see how different racers. We hooked up with Jeff Rudisill and Tyrone from the Southeast Outlaw Nostalgia guys. They become like brothers to us. And, we went out to their neck of the woods in North Carolina, and they just treated us like we were long-lost brothers. And that's the part of this deal that...
That's cool.
It's a feeling that you can't describe. You got to experience. But it's so cool to come together with basically, in the beginning, total strangers, and walk away brothers, It's so that's something that a lot of people don't get to experience.
Hold on. Come together right now.
Yeah, we don't do a lot of breaking bread and eating together and singing Kumbaya. I know there's one group that that's what they pride themselves on. I don't know how much racing they do, but they seem to be eating a lot. We all get along, but when we get in the staging lanes and when the second bulb is lit, there's the guy next to you is not your friend. So but I mean, anybody that has a problem with a car, anybody that ever needs help, anybody needs to borrow a part, everybody's trailer is open to everybody else. It's like one big giant family.
Okay.
We are dedicated racers. Even though we're an exhibition class, everybody every year works to make their car faster than it was the year before. And, we try to pair the cars up equally as best we can. But those two guys are racing against each other. And so, So we do it a little bit different than some of the other groups. And again, I got to feel like we're doing it right because we seem to be pretty popular. So we're going to ride that wave as long as we can. And honestly, I hope I'm talking to you 15 or 20 years from now.
Yep.
So.
So let me ask you, do you buy your parts or you build them?
Do I buy what?
Do you buy your car parts or you build them?
Well, some pieces you have to buy. I'm in a little different position than some of the guys. I was a chassis builder. I owned a chassis shop for many, many years, and I have a lot of the equipment still in my garage. I've got a very large garage that's fully equipped, so I do a lot of the work myself. My crew chief, Dave Meyer, helps a lot, and Brad. But a lot of the parts on these cars you almost have to do yourself because it's not like going to the parts store and buying something for a Chevy Malibu or whatever.
Yeah.
A lot of them are one-off pieces, and some of the guys build them, and some of the guys take them to specialty shops and have them built.
So let me ask you, who sponsors your car?
I've been fortunate to be surrounded by a lot of really good people. The company I work for, High Hot Rod, is a big help with our group. My good friend John, who owns Power Master Performance, has been just unbelievably supportive. He's always there to lend a hand. He's always there for advice. He builds the best product in the world. Strange Engineering came on board this year, and with all the guys, and is helping us tremendously on their parts. We all run straight parts. There's several. I mean, we have flat-out gaskets, and ARP products. They build bolts. They're both helping us out tremendously this year. So, we're fortunate enough that a lot of these bigger companies believe in what we're doing and they see the value, so they get on board to help us. So, it makes it a little easier to race, when it doesn't cost as much,
Okay, now here's a question I never asked before. What's the least thing on a racetrack that you don't like? What's the thing that on racetracks that you do not like?
Boy, I don't know. I don't think there's any. I guess the brakes, because I have to stop. I never want to stop. I always want to just keep going because it's so much fun.
Yeah.
But that's my happy place, so I don't have anything bad. I mean, they're a lot of work, and sometimes you're in the staging lanes and it's really hot. You're wearing a jacket and fireproof pants and shoes and gloves and a helmet, and you think it's hot in the stands. Well, sit in one of these cars, the windows don't roll up and down, and believe it or not, they don't have air conditioning, so it can be brutal sometimes. But after you let the clutch out, all that goes away, and you get a big smile on your face. So very little that I don't like about a race car. So I even like working on it. I mean, I've done a lot of work to my car, and it's kind of kind of peaceful time for me. I can do a little welding or do some machining or whatever needs to be done, and I kind of get zoned into it. And I'm not doing it for anybody else. I'm not trying to make money at it. It's like I take my time and be creative, and
Mike,
so I guess that's a fun part too.
Mike, you missed my question. Okay, you're at a racetrack. What's the least? Oh, wait. Hold on. Okay, what's the most common racetrack you use all the time?
Probably Cordova. That's like our home track.
Okay. Now, if you were given $15 million to build a racetrack or to add more features to a racetrack, which racetrack would you add features to, or where would you build your racetrack at?
I probably would build a racetrack close to my house, just because I'm selfish. Rather than go with someone else's racetrack, I would just rather have my own track. Without a doubt, I would somehow, get Dominic Blasco, who runs Cordova right now, to run it, because nobody runs the racetrack better than that guy. The surface is absolutely perfect always, and he's a racer. He knows how to treat races. So if I had my choice, I would definitely get him, and I'm sure we could make some improvements on some of the stuff. But all in all, most of the racetracks, they're not too bad. I mean, most of the people there treat you really nice, and I have no complaints. I mean, I raced back, in the early '70s, and when they were terrible, so no lights and porta potties, and it was no electricity out there. So it was a lot different now.
Have you ever had any accidents with a Bob Glidden car?
No, I rolled into the stand a couple weeks ago at Cordova because my parachute malfunctioned. But it was just a gentle roll. But no, I've never wrecked. I've wrecked cars before, but never on the track. I wrecked a Baja car in California one time, a high jumper, and that was kind of hairy. And then I wrecked a street Mustang one time. But other than that, I've been very, very fortunate. I don't. My motto is take your foot off the gas when something goes bad and live for another day. I can't afford to fix this car. It's a one-of-a-kind car. It was built in 1979. You can't buy fiberglass for it anymore. You can't even buy a lot of the parts, the body pieces for it. So I'm real cautious with that car. And, we're not trying to win a championship or anything. So if the car gets a little bit out of control, most of the time I just take my foot off the gas, and that's that.
Where do you buy your fire suit from?
My fire suit was made by a man named Jim Deast, who was the pioneer in car safety equipment. And he was a mentor to me, and he made me that jacket in 1979, and it's still up to today's specs, and I still wear it. It's beat up and old and looks terrible, but I'd still be wearing the pants, but I got a little fat, and I can't fit into them anymore. So, but he passed, several years ago, but he was one of the pioneers, and he was one of the first guys to put a parachute on a car. He was instrumental in fireproof clothing, and just an all-around great guy.
Do you have any favorite race drivers in the United States that you like to get a shout out to?
I was fortunate enough to work with a lot of really good drivers. I got to work with the late Joe Lapone, and at the time, his crew chief and engine builder was Bill Grumpy Jenkins. That was a special time in my life to be able to work with those two. Unfortunately, they left us a little bit too early. Probably the best driver I've ever worked with and been friends with is Tony Christian. He has a natural ability. He nothing gets under his skin, nothing bothers him, and he's a prankster, and he's actually coming back out again. Scott Benny and Woody Mays of the TV show Pro Stock Rescue are building a car right now, and Tony is going to be driving that car next year, and I really can't wait to get out there because we call him the master of disaster. So just an all-around really cool guy, and he's been a cool guy my whole life, and he's just like I said, a naturally God-gifted, talented driver, and a very smart racer.
How about your friend Bob?
I don't really know Bob Glidden. I mean, I've met him.
Bob Merrily.
Oh, Bob Merrily. Oh, yeah. Well, that's the subject. Bob. I've known Bob since high school. We used to race speed bikes around Mount Prospect when we were kids.
You're the one who was racing in Mount Prospect. The one I heard rumors about.
That could be. I'm still part of a club that we formed in the early '70s called the Mount Prospect Street Racers.
Yeah, I heard of that.
We had the jackets, and we hung around the McDonald's in Mount Prospect, drank beer, and drove around with open headers. And the whole club's together. One of the founding members died a few years ago, but everybody else is still around. And strangely enough, most of them have race cars. In fact, I'm really looking forward to doing the World Series because a good friend of mine who is a Mount Prospect street racer has a Hemi Dodge that he races in Nostalgia Superstock, and so we're finally going to be at the same track together. So that'll be fun.
My two uncles used to come watch you guys street race.
Oh, really? We did a lot of that. I was no stranger to the Mount Prospect police station. I wasn't as far as I am now, so I learned to win a lot. You do it more, and you get caught. And I had some issues, but then I decided it's probably smarter just to go to drag strips.
So,
definitely.
so what's your favorite food?
Probably pizza,
Mm.
I would say. Cheeseburger. I'm real easy. There is very little you can put on my plate that I won't eat. So
Well, have you ever raced against a rod shop car?
I have not. They have a different group, and the two groups don't get together. His car is a little bit faster. Actually, it's a lot faster. He has a much bigger engine than that, so I don't think it would. I'd have to do a little work to mine to catch up with them. But I suppose someday when hell freezes over, we'll be able to do it. We've talked about it enough. But yeah, you know how these groups are. They have issues with each other and all
Yeah.
that, and so it's just one of those things. I don't want to say anything bad about anybody.
No.
He's got his deal going, we got our deal going, and as long as his deal doesn't interfere with mine, I'm good with it.
Oh, that's cool. Do you have any other hobbies besides racing?
Um, Really, no. I'm pretty one-dimensional.
Fishing?
Unfortunately, we used to. Eileen and I used to write a rock column for years. We were
Oh.
rock critics. We went and we wrote for a Chicago nightlife magazine called What's Up. But
Yeah, I remember that one.
yeah, we did it for a long time. I think 8 or 9 years, 10 years.
I
And it was a
remember
lot
that
of
one.
fun. We'd go to bars and watch bands and all that.
Mm.
But the racing really started cutting into that. So
Okay. Hold on.
I
Favorite,
live on a
favorite,
farm, so I have built-in hobbies here. So.
wait. Favorite local metal band that you like?
Boy,
Come on.
there's so many of them.
You have to
I,
have, you have
you
to
know,
have
I,
one.
and I have such a varied taste in music. I can listen to 50s music. My favorite, I guess, is Jimi Hendrix and Robin Trower and that type of stuff. There's a guy out of Wheeling named Nick Bell, young guy, he's probably 25 years old, does a great job. Fantastic guitar player, and his vocals are coming around. I guess he's probably like the new local guy that I like. But I can be just as comfortable listening to a 50s band too. So,
What have you ever heard of the band Trouble?
where are they from?
Originally from Chicago.
Oh no, I have not. But we mostly go in the suburbs. But I would definitely like to see them if they're in this area somewhere. What kind of music do they play?
Metal.
Okay.
Yeah, same kind of music you like.
I like Ozzy, and that's about my. I don't really get into super heavy metal stuff, but I can do Ozzy pretty easily.
It's not that heavy.
And
It's not that heavy, but it's heavy, but not that heavy like screaming heavy. It's
yeah,
just
that's good.
heavy
That's
metal.
like I don't care for like Disturbed. I can listen to one or two songs of those, and then I start getting a headache. So, but yeah, I'm pretty varied when it comes to music.
I like Jimi Hendrix. I like Bob Marley.
Yeah, he was
Not Bob Marley, but Bob Marley.
incredible songwriter, incredible vocalist,
Mhm.
and his band was pretty much second to none. He put together some. The Experience was a very, very talented band. A lot of people don't know that the original drummer in that band,
Mhm.
was voted out of Rolling Stone's 100 best drummers. He was number 8.
Yeah, I know about
So
that.
you got like one of the best guitar players and one of the best drummers and a really good bass player. You can see why that band was popular.
Okay, let me ask you this: if you could go back in time to do something over again, what would it be and what would you do?
I probably would have paid a little bit more attention to the business side of my business. I spent too much time trying to be creative, and so I didn't make as much money as I could have. And I would have got back into driving much earlier than I did. I was always worried that I did not want to be in competition with my customers. And my shop was always open on Saturdays to accommodate customers, and that really put a dent. It's hard to run a race car, when you have to work on Saturday. So if I have any regrets, it would be that. I wish I would have continued when I first started driving. I wish I would have continued throughout, but I really have no regrets. I mean, life's been good. I'm still having a good time, and I'm still here, you know. So a lot of people my age didn't make it this far. So I'm a I'm a happy camper right now. I have no complaints.
So, is your family involved in what you do?
Not really. You know, I don't. My parents are both still alive. I don't know that they quite understand what I do. I'm sure that if they came out there, they'd be horrified. So, you know, they've never been out that way. I have my one son that I have lives in California, but he hasn't had a chance to see much of it. My other son lives local, but he's not really into racing, and I don't think he's even seen me driving this Glidden car, and I've had it 2 years. So, but you know, he's got his own life and does his own thing. He's really into sports. So,
Well, what's your son's name?
Cameron.
Well, Cameron, if you're listening to your dad right now, make sure you go see your dad this weekend.
He's probably not listening, but his initials are Carr. So and his name is Cam. So we definitely we're trying to lead him into that type of life. And when he was 8 years old, I did a junior dragster for him. I've got a really cool picture of him in the car with the suit on, and my brother and I at Broadway Bob and Broadway's daughter at Great Lakes Dragaway in the early '90s.
Oh, I remember Broadway Bob.
Yeah, he was a great guy.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a neat picture. He ran the junior dragster for a little while, and then he got into baseball, and that's what he wanted to do. So, I let him do it.
I got some collectible memorabilia of Broadway Bob.
Yeah, he was something else. There'll never be another one. He was a great promoter and just a great all-around guy. I know some people that are involved in the village of Union Grove, and they said Bob worked tirelessly trying to promote the village of Union Grove or town, to get grants from people and, make things happen. And he just was an all-around good guy.
Okay, well, Dave is asking, tell us a time in the weekend how you get ready for a race.
Well, the first thing we do is stop somewhere close to the track at a Denny's or a place like that, get a great big giant breakfast because I like to eat. And then when we get to the racetrack, the guys get the car out, and there's some routine maintenance that we have to do there. We check the tire pressure. Eileen packs the parachute, and Dave works with the carburetors. We get them all adjusted and synced, and we run the motor a little bit, and make sure it's all good. And then we do that after every round. We come back, and the parachute has to be packed, and we have to look the car over, make sure nothing's leaking or falling off or anything like that. So this is a fairly low maintenance car. We have had some issues, but all in all, it's not a lot of work. I worked on NHRA Pro Stock cars for a long, long time, and all those cars we were constantly taking out in every run and changing heads and rebuilding motors, and it was a lot of work. It was a real lot of work.
Well, you pack your own chutes? Do you pack your own?
You guys need to come out to one of our races and see how it really works.
You know what? The thing is, my car is giving me shit right now. I can't travel anywhere. I've been stuck home for a long time, like a month. Dave gets rides to work from my dad, and this is some fucked up bullshit with my car. My car runs, but someone going out of state of Illinois, whatever. I'll deal with that later. But yeah, I'm gonna try to come out to your races on August 19th. That's the day of my birthday.
Well, the August 19th race is going to be at Joliet at Route 66.
I know.
Awesome racetrack. Beautiful. You're welcome to be our guest there. We can put you in crew shirts, and you'll be able to go up on a starting line and get a close-up personal view of what these cars are like when they launch. And just let me know ahead of time. I'll tell you where to meet us, and you're welcome to come hang around all weekend with everybody.
Yeah, most likely I'm taking the train out there.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't know how you do that.
Yeah, I know the metro shit system.
All right. Well, we're going to be out there. I think it starts at 5. We're going to probably get there around noon or 1 o'clock to get set up. But yeah, definitely get a hold of me, and we'll hook up with you out there. It'll be fun. I think you guys would like it.
Yeah, we will. And also, tell me, I wish you the best race this weekend, and good luck, and win the race.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that, and I'll keep that. And I'll do my best to win for you. How's that?
Thank you. That'll be awesome.
All right. Yeah, so you can kind of keep an eye on what happens. I don't know if they're doing any podcasts out there, but I'm sure by the end of the weekend there'll be some notices that who did what or how it went. I know it's the only night race that they have at Byron. They bring lights in, especially just for this race. Most of the time they race during the day there, so this is kind of a treat for all the people who see night race. They do a good job at that track. It's nice safe track. They treat races good. So I'm looking forward to it.
Mike, we got someone in the chat box. Name is Dr. Ron. He said, see Mike and the Nostalgia Pro Stock group in action at Cordova's World Series of Drag Racing on August 25th, 26th, 27th.
Dr. Ron is a fellow Nostalgia Pro Stock racer. He's the only other guy in our group that runs a Ford. So he and I are kind of Ford brothers. Great guy. Very, very cool car that he has. It's an original Pro Stock car, and it runs real fast. And so it's always fun when he's out. He's another one of the prankster, fun-loving kind of guys. So everybody's always playing jokes on everybody else. So I'm sure that that race out in Cordova, the World Series, is going to be a lot of fun. So.
Well, we got to get Dr. Ron on our show.
Absolutely.
And we will get more interviews with you in the future. I like you.
I like being on. Listen, anytime I can talk about our pro stock promoted, I'm happy.
I like the car. That's one sick-ass car.
Well, you'll have to come out and see it and sit in it and stuff. And like I said, we'll get you a fruit shirt. And you guys can hang out and be part of it.
I just want to touch the car. That's it. I just want to touch it.
All right, you can do that too.
I just want to rub on the car. I just want to be like, nice car. Yeah, Dr. Ron said, anytime message me on Facebook. Well, it's a pleasure talking to you, my friend. I wish you the best races.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you very much for allowing me to just keep talking about all this stuff. But as you can see, I really love it. And I hope to see you guys really soon. Dave, thanks for everything you did.
Next weekend.
No problem.
Next weekend, buddy.
Come out to Route 66, give me a call, and you're welcome to come meet all the rest of the Nostalgia Pro Stock guys. I know you talked to Mark, my partner, last weekend, and there's a whole bunch of other characters out there like him, so you'll have a good time, guaranteed.
I bet we will. We'll see you next weekend, my dear.
All right, sounds good. Thanks again,
Have a good day. Thank you.
Bye.
Well, that was a very fun interview. And Dr. Ron, what is your real name? Yeah, you can hear me. He's in the chat box. Yeah, I got 6 minutes to go. Dr. Ron, what's your real name? Well, yeah, message the Facebook page, Pizza Metal Motor Chaos. Anyways, everybody, that was Mike Ruth of the Midwest Nostalgia Pro Stock, the real one. Dr. Ron Burgess, that's what his name is. His name is Mike Ruth. Ron Burgess. Mike Ruth, Bob Clinton car. Check them out this weekend and next weekend. And what Dr. Ron said, a Nostalgia Pro Stock group in action at Cordova's World Series of Drag Racing August 25th, 26th, 27th. Make sure you guys go to these races. And calling to Mike's son, make sure you go to see your dad racing this weekend, next weekend, and a weekend after. Have a good night, everybody. Later.